Hi, also I'm Pimenta here. In this second video of the Making the Most of 2021 challenge, I want to talk about clarifying where you are. If we think about where we are right now, then there are things that we can do that help us move towards our goal, our vision, which we talked about in the first video. And there are things that we can do that are going to move us towards a vision of what we actually don't want. Some people resist where they are right now. And doing that just causes stress and it depletes your energy. So if you've got limited energy, we don't really want to be depleting our energy by generating stress, not accepting where we are right now, fighting where we are right now. So it's really important that we do what we need to do in order to get to a point of acceptance of where we are right now. So in a separate video, I will share two resource states that I think are really useful to cultivate that can help us accept where we are right now. I shared a part of a quote by Tony Robbins yesterday in the first video. Tony Robbins says that where you are now is the culmination of decisions and actions of the last 12 months. Now, I appreciate some people might say, well, actually, where I am right now is not just the culmination of the last 12 months, but there are more events that have contributed to that. But consider that the decisions, the actions that we've taken over the last 12 months have played a part in where we are right now. One of the exercises I'll be getting you to do in the next video is looking back over the last year and considering what didn't go well, what are the things you could learn from and approach things in a different way, and what also went well. I know when I had MECFS, sometimes I dealt with a situation in a really resourceful way, for instance, being in a dip. And when I was in that situation the next time, I'd actually forgotten what I'd done that had been really helpful. So I talk about this concept of having a personal handbook, creating a place where you put any strategies that have worked for you for dealing with challenging situations. So it might be dealing with a dip, might be dealing with someone whose behavior you find challenging. There's an app called Evernote, which I really like, and it's a great place for storing information. So I've got a little section called strategies, and anytime I hear a good approach for dealing with a situation, it might be assertive communication or something else, I pop it there. So I've got a whole list of things dealing with overwhelm, dealing with anxiety, and I'm building up a resource. Again, that's something we'll talk more about in the next video. I remember someone saying to me when I had MECFS, what if you embraced the idea that you are where you're meant to be right now? Now, that was quite a challenging concept to get my head around at that time, because I really didn't want to be where I was right now. And it is a belief. Okay, it's not a fact. That approach to things is a belief. The question is whether it's a useful belief. You know, consider what's more useful. Having that belief, I'm where I'm meant to be right now, as opposed to where I'm meant to be right now. It really sucks. I hate it. I don't want to be here. Which is going to be more helpful to you. If we think about where we are right now, there's going to be a culmination of factors, some of which are outside our control. So, for example, I've worked with people who've come from a dysfunctional family, and some of their behaviors and traits have come from that dysfunction and may have contributed to them getting sick. Some people have had to deal with very challenging circumstances which have shaped them, maybe being brought up in poverty, in difficult circumstances. But it's also really important to consider what are the factors that are within our control, things we can influence. Thing is, we cannot change our starting point. We cannot change where we are right now. Okay, so fighting it is futile. uses up energy, as I've mentioned. We can only change the decisions and actions we take now. And those decisions and actions will either move us away from what we want or move us towards what we want. Consider that what's possible isn't limited by the past or your current situation. I'd invite you to feel into that, and I'll repeat it. What's possible isn't limited by your past or by current circumstances. We can't change our past. Some people live in the past. At one point, I was living in the past. I was living in regret. I was living in anger and frustration because of stuff that had happened and, things that related to my upbringing. But it's really important that we don't let our history become our story. The past exists in our memory and in our body. As I say, we can't change the past, but we can change how we think about the past and how we feel about the past. We can learn from the past. And what we can do is influence our future. So the task for today, or the tasks for today, is number one is to do an audit. So I've added a score sheet in the file section. If you're watching this video and you're not in that group, do feel free to click the link below so you can access all the resources. What I'd like you to do, and use that sheet to record this information and to date it so that you can actually compare over time, is to consider what score you'd give out of 10 for your physical health, with 10 being a healthy person. What score would you give for the percentage of thoughts that are calming, nurturing, supportive? And you can also score what percentage of the thoughts you're having each day are calming, nurturing, supportive, and neutral. They might be different numbers. And I'd like to score your compassion towards yourself. What number would you say you are for being compassionate towards yourself? With 10 being Dalai Lama levels of kindness and compassion. When I work with someone, there are other metrics that we score, but I just want to give you some food for thought, a starting point. The other thing I want you to think about is, what are the core states that you find that you're frequently in? So, for example, some clients say they're frequently in states of anxiety, fear, impatience, frustration, self-criticism. Other clients, as they start to get to grips with some of the unhelpful patterns they've been running and using the tools that they learn, start to score more highly for calm, for patience, for trust, for self-compassion. Okay, so just ponder that. What are the states that you're, over the course of the day, if I was to wire you up to a machine that was monitoring your physiological state, what would it be telling me about the states that you're generating on a consistent basis? And we're going to be using this information in video 5 to actually create some very specific goals and an action plan. An additional task you can do if you want to is to look at another topic in the 5 fundamentals guide and just work your way through it. Shouldn't take long to do it. So if you've got any questions, post them in the dedicated group. Thanks for watching. Wishing you great health. Bye for now.